Number problem practice. So our question here says Brent is 8 years older than Anne. Zhang is twice as old as Brent. If the sum of their ages is 92, how old is each person? So when I look at this question, I notice we have more than just 2 unknowns. This question has 3 unknowns. We have Brent, we have Anne, and we have Zhang. So I actually have 2 different comparison sentences. I have one that says Brent is 8 years older than Anne. I have another one that says Zhang is twice as old as Brent. And then I have a total that says the sum of all of their ages is 92. So when we're doing a word problem, there are 5 things we need to make sure we're doing. We need to start with let statements to introduce our variables, and then our expressions that we're using for each person. We need an equation that represents that their sum is 92. We want to solve that equation. We want to find our answers. So how old is Brent? How old is Anne? How old is Zhang? And then we want to write a sentence at the end just answering the question. So first thing I want to do is start with some let statements. And I'm just going to identify how many unknowns I have and what they're for. So there are 3 different things we don't know. We don't know Brent's age, Anne's age, or Zhang's age. So I'm going to let something be Brent's age. I'm going to let something be Anne's age. And I'm going to let something be Zhang's age. So there are 2 different comparison sentences. So I am just going to take them one at a time. So I'm going to start with just the first one that says Brent is 8 years older than Anne. So I'm going to ignore the second sentence. So in this sentence, the second person mentioned is Anne. So I think I'm going to let X be Anne's age. And then Brent is 8 years older. Older is a word for addition. So it means that he is 8 years older. We're going to add 8 onto Anne's age. So we could do 8 plus X, or I'm going to write X plus 8. So I have Anne is X, and then Brent is 8 years older, so he's X plus 8. Now I'm going to tackle that second sentence. It says Zhang is twice as old as Brent. So twice means times 2, and then Brent is X plus 8. So to get Zhang's age, I'm going to take X plus 8, and I'm going to multiply it by 2. Now you'll notice I wrote that underneath because here I think I'm actually going to multiply it by 2 and just write that answer in. So 2 times X is 2X, and 2 times 8 is 16. So if he's twice as old as Brent, that means I'm going to take Brent and multiply by 2. So 2 times X is 2X, 8 times 2 is 16. So I now have an expression for Brent's age, Anne's age, and Zhang's age. So now I'm going to tackle the sentence that tells me about the total. It says, if the sum of their ages is 92, how old is each person? So I know that if I were to add together Brent, Anne, and Zhang, I should get a grand total of 92. And then I'm just going to sub in what I have from my let statements. So Brent is X plus 8. And then plus, Anne is just X. And then plus, Zhang is 2X plus 16. And that equals 92. Now, I notice there are a lot of like terms on this side, so I'm going to add together all of my like terms. So I have X plus 2X. So that's X plus X is 2X plus another 2X makes 4X. And then if I do the numbers, I have 8 and 16. 8 plus 16 is 24. And that still equals 92. So now that I've simplified my equation, all I need to do is solve. So I'm going to start by subtracting 24 from both sides. So I have 4x equals 92 take away 24 is 68. And then we are going to divide both sides by 4. So 68 divided by 4 is 17. So x equals 17. So what I need to do once I finish solving is I need to go back and figure out what my actual answers are, right? So I need to figure out how old is Brent, how old is Anne, how old is Zhang. So I have let statements for each of those. I'm going to take 17 and put it back in for x into each of those. So I'm going to do that off to the side here. So I've got Brent, who is x plus 8. I have Anne, who is x. And then I'm going to do Zhang, but I need to see how much space I need. Oh, maybe just a couple of lines. Maybe here. He's 2x plus 16. Okay, so for Brent, x is 17. 17 plus 8. So 17 plus 8 is 25. So Brent is 25. Anne is just x. So she's just 17. And then Zhang is 2 times 17 plus 16. So we have to multiply first. Order of operations tells us that. So 2 times 17 is 34 plus 16 means that he is 50. So Brent is 25, Anne is 17, and Zhang is 50. Now, if you want to check before we write our sentence, you can try adding them together, and they should add up to 92. That was how we got this in the first place. So 25, 17, and 50 equals 92, so I feel good about my answer. So it says, how old is each person? I'm going to say, therefore, Brent is 25. Anne is 17, and Zhang is 50. And that's how you do a word problem with 3 unknowns.